Butter, let's forget of all the fights that you had in the last couple of years in Glory. Let's focus only on the fight between you and Alistair, the two fights you guys had. What will it take for you to bring your level back to that level that you had back then and to knock him out?
I think what is important to say is that when I entered Glory, I started training with a new coach for the last 1 year, 1.5 almost. So I needed some time to adapt. It's a different style, different way of a different vision of how fighting should go in his eyes. I think this adaptation took some time, but I think I know that we found the right way now. I think in my last fights I was too defensive, and this is not who I am from nature. I think my best defense was always my offense. So I am now there. I found it. I found the aggression. I find the way to pressure my sparring partners again. I really hurt them. I'm sorry, but I really do. So I think everything falls in the right place. And about Alistair, I know him for a long time. He's strong, but we all know how he handles fighters who pressure him. So with that said, I think that's what will be needed October 8th.
With that said, are we going to see aggressive Butter Hari? More aggressive than the last couple of fights?
Yeah, I think for sure. Like I said, offense is my thing, and we already saw how he reacts on that. We watch his fights. Even if he's in a different organization before, we've been following him. So we already saw what happens there. We saw his fight with Volkov, with Ngannou. Those heavy hitters. We see how he don't manage those guys. So I think the fight plan is clear. I can tell it to him now. He can prepare for it or not, but this is how the fight will go.
Thank you. Alistair, you're going to fight against Butter Hari. It's going to be the third time. You fought both already in the K1 days. He lost all the fights that he had since he came back from Glory. But are you going to think it's going to be a walk in the park for you to win from him?
Expect the worst, prepare for the worst. Don't expecting an easy evening. He's a legend, a very talented fighter. We had the pleasure of training shortly together. Very technical, very talented. I'm actually expecting the best Butter because this is hit or miss for him. I think his ego, he wants to win really bad. So I'm expecting the best Butter. It's not going to be an easy walk in the park.
So it's not going to be easy walk in the park, but can you tell him what you're going to do to him on the 8th of October?
Well,
don't tell me, tell him.
I don't have to look at him. There's respect. I don't have to challenge him. I think it's a little bit immature to talk light. I'm not the type to kick a man when he's down. He's had a rough patch. We all have seen that. I'm coming from a loss. So we don't have to, he's in a do-or-die situation, but I see that myself as well. I expect a very focused Butter, and Butter can be dangerous. Let's not forget that, right?
Well, I know from experience that he is dangerous. I know that from experience that you are dangerous. But we need to see a champion, we need to see a winner at the end. A question for Butter. You work with Saeed and you settled down right now. What did change in your training method now, looking back then? What has changed? Can you go a little bit more deeper in details?
You mean back then, when we just started, like back then?
Yeah, back then because when you started with Saeed.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
No, like of course, when we started first working together, you know, it's a totally different trainer with a different view of fighting. So like I said, you really need some adaptation. You know, when I start training with somebody, I try to just give him all my trust. Let me see what he can bring. Let me learn. I become the student, you know. I always want to stay the student. I'm always learning. So I gave him all this space. I learned a lot in this last years. And now we start to, our vision about fighting is start to mix and finding each other in how I feel very comfortable and how he thinks about how fighting should go. And I think now we have really found the right balance in our way, in our two styles. So, and I think our two styles is really making each other better. So yeah, I think it was just I just needed some time, you know, and it came at the same time that I went to Glory. So a lot of things happened in a very short time, and this results is when you fight, you try to do things in your fights. Some things work, something doesn't work, something fits you, something doesn't fit you. And you know, my fights went not that well. It went well, but every time something happened, you know, I was or unlucky or we just lost, you know. So, but this is fighting, you know. This is sports, and like I said, you know, I'm a believer. I'm a hard worker. I'm a fighter. I'm an aggressor, you know. And I always come to, you know, I really come to hurt people, you know. And like I said, it's never personal, you know. But I really come to hurt people. So I think me and Saeed are with the right team now. You know, we'll manage this October 8th.
Thank you. Last question. Sorry, Mark. Alistair, Butter's coming back from a couple of losses, and he's really strong. He's really dangerous. He dominated all the fights that he had in Glory, but at the end he was on the losing side of the fight. What did you change in your tactics and your training to win from him on the 8th of October?
Changed a lot of things, but I think since our last fight, I've been a completely different fighter, and then even in the last 6 months, I've been a completely different fighter again. So even I do not even know what I'll be doing, but yeah, you know, when I look at him, when I look at his fights, fireworks, that's anyhow coming from me and from him. So yeah, it'll be a nice fight. October 8th.
How is your feeling after what happened in Belgium? The fight between the fans was not good for kickboxing, I believe. How did you recover from this evening, and what was your impression? And maybe you have a message for the fans on this. What can you say about it?
I think what happened. I don't want to talk about it a lot, but I think what happened in Belgium was it was catastrophic. You know, I've been in this game for a long time, and I never saw something like this. You know, these hooligans. I never saw something like this. But I think Glory made the right decision. I think it was the best choice to cancel this fight and to stop it, to protect the fans. The real fans. So I think Glory did the amazing job and the right decision. Of course, it was not a decision that we liked, because you come to fight and you come to end your fight. But I really respect this decision, and like I said, it was the only one. What I can say to my fans, especially my fans, is that you know, I really love them. I know them. They've been for me for a long time. We never had these horrible things happen in arenas before. So yeah, it was a black page in my career, you know, not because of my fight, but what I saw that day. So, but I know Glory, so I know this will never happen again. I know they will do all the necessary things that they should to keep everybody safe, because this is our first concern. Keep the fighters safe, the fans safe. I spoke with Glory a lot about this, so I know they will do a great job. And this will never happen again, so this gives us a positive view for the future. You're welcome.
Can you explain how you keep the motivation of the streak without victory you had?
Because, you know, life is not only about victory, you know. Life is not only about victory, you know. You got defeats, you got losses, you got wins, you got sickness, you got wealth, you got bankruptcy, you got all kind of things in life, you know. But it's how you recover, it's how you go forward. This is what makes you a fighter, you know. And for me, you know, I'm gonna roll it until the wheels fall off, you know. I feel strong, I feel determined, I feel hungry, and I still really enjoy my sports, you know. I go to the gym with a lot of happiness, a lot of, you know, I just feel very great inside of my dojo, and I like to, I enjoy it. So it's easy, it's not even a question, it's my life, it's who I am. And, you know, every fight is a chapter, and the book is not, I'm not even thinking about quitting, you know. I heard Alistair talk about it, but not in my book.
13 years ago was the last fight against Alistair Overeem. What memories do you got of that fight?
I have to say honest, I think that fight with Alistair, it's one of my highlights in my career, you know. It was a legendary fight. I know the feeling that I had. You know, he came into the K1 and he was like, I think Remy is here, so he's one of the guys who was with us in that time. I think he really surprised us. You know, he came from MMA, and we thought, yeah, okay, he's not a really good kickboxer, so I think we can handle him. And he came in strong, he dominated, and he surprised us. You know, I think this was what we all were not expecting of him. So the second fight when he came, yeah, we know what he could do. So I was really prepared, and I gave him a promise. He still knows the promise. Everybody knows the promise. And I did what I did, but that fight, yeah, it was a classic fight. You know, I think everybody was very happy inside of the kickbox world that I knocked him out that time, because, like I said, he came like a tornado, and he surprised all of us.
When you guys first fought back in 2008, I think, you kind of took it on you to defend the honor of kickboxing against this outsider coming from MMA into kickboxing. A lot of similarities now. Again, after a decade, coming back into kickboxing. You feel the same? You feel you had like to defend kickboxing?
No, I think this time it's different. I think this time it's different because we already knew what he can do in kickboxing. So we learned, and like the first time it was really different. You know, we were having our K1 organization, we were kicking each other, and then he came as an outsider, and like I said, we weren't prepared. I wasn't prepared, but I know a lot of guys weren't prepared. So he came and he dominated quickly. For 1 year he became K1 champion, amazing job. But I think now it's different because we know he got kickboxing skills. He didn't fight for a long time inside the kickboxing ring, and I can tell you that if you don't have rhythm, it makes fighting very difficult. So I know it's going to be very difficult for him in the beginning. So let's see, you know, but it's not the same feeling. Like I said, we know what he can do, you know, I'm prepared.
What do you think is going to be the biggest difference with him now?
In which way you mean?
Well, compared to the last time you fought, he's been away for a long time, you think it's going to be any different? Or?
He's much older now. So age plays the game also, you know, so you can say yes, you can say no, you can say whatever you want, but it plays, you know, and he's been inactive in kickboxing for a long time. Like I said, we saw how he managed strikers. You know, in the ground, he's an amazing athlete. He's one of Netherlands' biggest talents in grappling. We know this for 20 years or more. So, but there is no grappling October 8th. So it's a stand-up fight, and we see how he managed stand-up fighters. So I think it's going to be a hard job. It's going to be a hard fight, and I'm going to give him hell, you know.
Thank you.
Like I'm coming home, right? We're coming in Netherlands. That is actually what motivated me. For me, that was big motivation, the fighting for home fans. You know, living in the US 10 years, but I don't know, Netherlands is home. And yeah, initially it was Rico. Rico was the target, but he's doing a movie or something, I don't know. So yeah, but I really wanted. It was not a fight I would push for, but yeah, I'm also, you know, I'm a competitor, I'm not gonna say no.
Good. And same for you. What do you expect is going to be different with Butter this time around compared to last time?
Last time we fought, he's in do or die situation now, so he'll be maybe 10% more than last time we fought.
More
That's what I'm
dangerous then.
expecting. Absolutely, he's always dangerous.
All right, thanks. Have a good fight, guys.
Butter, Alistair has called it a do or die situation. I don't think you agree. Can you still say something about how important this fight will be for the rest of your career?
No, I think he's right. There's no lie about what he said. But this is me in every fight, you know. I'm in a do or die stage every moment of the fight. So I think every fighter lives like this. I'm just looking forward, you know. He gives me a lot of motivation, so I'm really looking forward for this fight. And this is fights that you live for, you know. These are those moments. You know, the other fights that I fought were funny, but this is the fight that makes you give everything you have and willing to die if needed, you know. I am prepared to die October 8th if that is what this has to be done to win, you know. I'm going to test him, you know. I'm going to test his character. I'm going to test his heart, his skill, his power. I'm going to test him, you know. I'm going to test his will to win. I'm really going to test him.
Okay. And given your recent losses, does this make this match more important for the rest of your career?
A loss is a loss. I don't care about loss. I look forward. Where people look backwards, I look forward. You know, I don't care about what happened, you know. It doesn't deter me of which kind of fighter I am, you know. It's just one night, one evening. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. That's it. It's just a moment in life. It's not your life.
So this fight will not determine the rest of your career?
No, of course not.
Okay, thank you. And Alistair, how's your fitness because of your injury?
Listen, I'm 42, but I live healthy. I do my things. I'm going to be in the best shape.
Okay, good. And what's the planning for you? Is this a fight on your way to the world title fight, or is this more the finishing of the fights with Butter?
Well, it's actually both, right? After this, we will, no more fight, I guess. I hope not. And then Rico, winner of this versus Rico.
Okay.
So.
And it doesn't matter if you lose or win, you'll fight Rico anyway.
Well, win, of course, right? Because what are you going to do with the title fight if you're losing? That doesn't make sense. So you win and then you continue.
Okay, thank you.
You could have waited for a title shot, but you decided to take this challenge with the risk of, you know, not being victorious after this one. What was the, what made you do that instead of the title fight?
Well, we are injured. That's why Rico fight didn't happen in October. And Rico was doing the movie, right? So he was unable or unwilling, whatever. So yeah, we still want to fight. And I don't know, the trilogy fight motivates me. I think everybody wants to see it. I think it's a perfect fight back in Netherlands for me, the ticket home. But to be honest, Butter was the big motivation because he really wants this fight.
So we spoke about Butter's losses, but let's switch it to the positive. What impressed you in the last previous fight of Butter?
Well, if I have to give a compliment, he was winning his fights before he lost. That would be something. Even Rico, that was a beautiful performance. Both times he was winning, clearly winning. So.
Thanks. Last question is for Butter. What do you think is the biggest threat of Alistair in this fight for your for this performance?
You know, like I said, he's an experienced fighter. You know, he's been to a lot of fights. His experience is one of his big things. But you know, I'm experienced too. We know what's gonna happen there. But like I said, I'm really gonna test him. I'm gonna push him beyond his limits. Believe me, he's gonna get tested.
The very last question. The last time you fought was a long time ago. You both grew, parents, no animosity right here. So what is the biggest development that you both gained in the previous period till now? For Alistair first.
In our previous fights? Well, I'm a completely different person. Completely. Right? The last 10 years, a lot has happened, right? The whole America thing, UFC, Strike Force, all that stuff. Completely different.
Butter, same question.
You know, I think a fighter stays a fighter, you know, so it has nothing to do with how what happened in your life. Did you have children? Did you not have children? Did you get separated, divorced? It doesn't matter, you know. You step there, there's another guy at the end of the ring who wants to hurt you. You want to do the same. So nothing changed. You're still a fighter. I don't know about him, but for me, no, man.
Thanks, guys.
The last press conference between you two, you promised us that Alistair wouldn't make it through the first round. Can you promise it again?
Maybe you can make him this promise, you know. You know, every fight is different, every press conference is different, you know. This is the first one, so let's build up this tension. We'll see if this promise is doable in time. I think there will be a following press conference, so just wait and see.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Butter just said it's going to be a hard and difficult match for you. Do you feel that the same way?
It's just going to happen how it's going to happen. I'm just going to flow with it.
All right, so that's your game plan. Just go with the flow.
That's exactly my game plan. Go with the flow.
All right, thank you.
I'm curious about your big motivation to show yourself in the Netherlands, in your home country. Can you explain it more deeply? Can you explain this motivation more deeply after all these years in the US?
So, still living in the States, but my future is not there. I'm not going to grow old in the States. So, coming home, and then you can see there's other fighters there, right? Rico kind of being the big guy. And of course, I don't know, that's a little bit my nature. Challenge the big guy. Now this fight is there first, but Butter's also a big name. But it's basically coming home. You're talking about motivation. When I'm 42 years old, I'm starting the second half of my life. But we will finish the first half excellently to start the second half excellently. That's my big motivation. What my second half is? I will tell you at the next press conference.
Thank you all for your questions. Now I would like to introduce Scott again on the stage for your stare down. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please stand up. Okay, friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Alistair, Overeem, and Hari, give it up one more time. Thank you so much. Scott, thank you.